Cari tifosi, buongiorno, benvenuti. Oggi abbiamo l'onore e il grandissimo piacere di avere con noi un ospite davvero speciale, il proprietario unico della Football Club Lugano SA, Joe Mansueto, con il quale avremo il piacere di avere un talk per cercare di capire un po' meglio cosa si cela dietro a questa persona, questo personaggio, questo businessman di successo. Cercheremo di farlo capire un po' meglio anche a voi. Joe Mansueto, it's an honor to welcome you in Lugano. We are truly grateful for your willingness to have a talk with us and with our fans connected to our channels.
No, thank you very much for the invitation. Look forward to our conversation.
This is your second visit to FC Lugano. What were your first impression upon arrival? Do you feel home in Lugano?
My first impression of Lugano is the incredible beauty of Lugano, and I think that's what most visitors who come to Lugano experience. If you're a resident of Lugano, maybe you see it every day, you take it for granted, but coming from other places, when you come to Lugano, you're just struck by the incredible beauty, the mountains, the lake. It's just breathtaking. And so you're just captivated by this natural environment that it's hard to imagine something more beautiful. And so that's my first impression always, is the beauty of Lugano. And then I do feel very much at home here. People are so warm, so welcoming. I've been to Italy many times. This is the Italian part of Switzerland, so it feels a lot. My father was Italian, so I've been to Italy growing up. We often came to Italy. So it feels very much at home to me. And no, it's just love being here and love the people, and everyone is very warm and welcoming.
In 2022, you visited Lugano just days after winning the Swiss Cup. What brings you to Lugano this time?
This trip is just a regular visit, a regular check-in, to check in with everyone at the club, to see how things are going. From the business side, Martin Blazer, the coaching staff, the players. And so it's just a regular visit. There's no special purpose to the trip other than just a regular visit. But it's something I enjoy very much, and so it's just a pleasure to be here. But there's no one reason to be here other than just a regular visit.
About FC Lugano now, we know that you watch every Lugano game. Are you a passionate fan, a core fan, or
I see.
Or maybe a calm observer of the game?
I would say I'm a passionate fan when I watch a Lugano game. I mean, I'm cheering if we're scoring and, groaning if we're not doing well. But I watch all the games, and I feel very connected to the club, and so it's not a impersonal experience or just a casual experience as if I'm watching a random Premier League game. But it's our club, and I feel very much a part of it. So yeah, I'm cheering. I'm watching the games, and they're super exciting. We play very attractive football. Under Mattia Torti, and so no, it's a phenomenal experience. It's a great sporting experience to watch FC Lugano.
How do you view FC Lugano's development since you acquired it?
The development I'm very pleased with. I've owned the club a little over 3 years now. The first year that I bought the club, we finished 4th in the league. The next year, 3rd. Last year, 2nd. You can see where that's going. So this year, I tell Georg Heitz, what's the next step? It's the first.
This is my next question, maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that too. And then, we've been in the Swiss Cup finals the last 3 years. We won one of those years. We came very close last year. We're now playing in the Conference League. We've won the first 2 games in our Conference League competition. So I would say the club has performed beyond my expectations. So I'm just thrilled with what Philip, Georg, our coaching staff, Carlos da Silva, Mattia Torti, what they have done, all the players. I have the utmost respect for the coaching staff, the players, all of these people. I think they've just done a phenomenal job.
Do you also dream, like us, seeing Lugano as Swiss champion in June? Or is this?
Yeah, I prefer not to use the term dream, but that's my aspiration. It's hopefully not a dream. It's something more tangible than a dream. But I think it's very much, within our capability to win the championship. Of course, it's a very competitive league. There's a lot of other clubs thinking the same thing. So we're going to have to fight hard, but we definitely have a really good shot, I think, at winning the league.
How do you judge the collaboration between FC Lugano and Chicago Fire FC?
I think the collaboration is going very well. As you know, we have a multi-club vision that having more than one club will give each club advantages. So the Chicago Fire and FC Lugano are sister clubs, and we view them as peers. But the idea is that with two clubs, we can invest more in scouting, because they feed both clubs. We can invest more in performance analytics, because it feeds two clubs, training, two clubs, and then we can move players across the roster, which has worked out very well. So in Chicago, we've had Maran Haile Selassie, we've had Alan Aragoni. In Lugano, we've had Nacho Aliseda, Kasper Shabilko, Justin Reynolds was here for a time. Yep. And so it's given, and it's been great for the players, to have them experience both leagues. So I'm super excited about the collaboration. I think it's going exceedingly well. It's great having people like Georg Heitz, Sebastian Peltzer, be able to make the bridge. We have a new coach in Chicago, Frank Klopas, is going to be the vice president of soccer operations, as we call it, football operations in Chicago. A part of his role is to be that bridge with FC Lugano. He's on this trip with us, and to make that connection so we can find more of those connections and share more talent across both clubs.
IL Arena, we are eagerly waiting for the completion. Are you also too? Is this your project too?
Yeah, it's very much our project. We're very excited about the new stadium. I want to thank all the residents of Lugano for approving the stadium and the referendum a few years ago. You can see it's under construction now. We've put more investment into the stadium to build out some better seating and other things within the stadium to make it a phenomenal experience. It should be the best boutique stadium in Europe. So we're very, very excited about the new stadium. And I think it'll be a game changer. I think it'll really elevate the club to that next level. New training grounds right next to the stadium. And so we're super excited. We can't wait to start to play in it. And so no, we're just thrilled, and we think it's going to help take the club to the next level.
You're involved in two different soccer worlds, the European one and the MLS. What's the difference between these two so different worlds?
Yeah, I think they're pretty different. I'm more involved on the MLS board. I'm on the board of governors of Major League Soccer, so I'm a little more connected there. Here I'm not on the board of FC Lugano. We have Georg Heitz. Philip Regazzoni is the chairman of the board, and so I'm not as involved on the board, but I think the leagues are structured very differently. In the US, Major League Soccer, it's what's known as a single entity. So everyone owns a part of the league. There's more rules, I would say, for better or worse, in Major League Soccer around spending, how much you can spend, rules that I think are a little maybe too complicated. But so, the structure is very different. So it's very interesting to compare and contrast.
What about your passion to football?
My passion for football arose from my children. So I grew up in the Midwest in the United States. Football was not an option. They did not offer that when I was growing up. So unfortunately, I did not play as a child growing up. But my children started to play. It's becoming more popular in the US, football, or soccer as we call it. And so they started to play. I started to watch them. They played club, high school, college. And then we watched professionally as a family. And we just loved the sporting experience. Started to watch European football, American football. And that's where it came from. And it's a nice family activity. And I think it's just a phenomenal sporting experience. 90 minutes of nonstop action. And the emotion is just second to none. And so compared to some of the American sports, which are slower, 3 to 4 hours, I think football is just a much better sporting experience. So I just became very passionate about the game, love evangelizing about the game. And so it's really been a privilege to be a part of it.
You talked about the family. How important is the concept of family to you?
Well, family is huge. Family is number one. There's nothing more important than family. It's the most rewarding thing in life, is to have children, raise children. And it's just been a phenomenal experience for me, for my wife and I. We have 3 children. And family comes first. And you have to get that in order. And then after you take care of that, then you can think about business and other things. But family is the core. It's the center of my life. And we all get along very well, my 3 children and my wife and I, and it's been a wonderful thing.
Are your companies like a big family? What kind of boss are you with your employees?
That's a good question. I do think of my company like a family. And, you want to build close relationships with those you work with, and you care about them as people. They're not just workers, but you have relationships with these people. And that's part of the joy of, running a company. And it's, a bit like a football club, on the pitch, where you need to have a good relationship. You need to come together as a team to be most effective. And so even in a company, you have to have this teamwork aspect, this family aspect, to be very effective.
What values do you draw from in life and at work?
What values do I draw from? I think I've been most affected by my parents and how they led their lives. I think some of the values are integrity, to do the right thing, always to do the right thing. And that's kind of the North Star. You want to behave well, play by the rules. You want to treat people with respect, no matter who they are. I try and set a good example. That's how my parents raised me. It wasn't so much preaching, but just watching how they lived, and hard work, and not complaining, but just working hard. All of that rubbed off on me, I think, and I try to do that with my children. I don't try and preach a lot to them, but hopefully my wife and I, by the lives we lead, set good examples for our children. I like hard work. I like people who accomplish things. You can be very bright, but if you're just, not focused and accomplishing things, I think you're letting your potential go to waste. And so, I like ambition, maybe as a value as well.
Philanthropy is a concept close to your heart. I imagine you receive many requests about that. Which criteria do you use to choose?
Yeah, philanthropy is very important. I've been very fortunate in my life. And so I think part of that comes with that, a responsibility to give back, to help other people who may not be as fortunate. And so my wife and I are very excited to be philanthropists and try and make the world a better place. One is around education. We've done a lot of things, whether it's the University of Chicago, at the college, university level. We have a high school in the Chicago area, Mansueto High School. We've given to numerous educational initiatives, and that's how people rise up in life, is through education. And so making sure that we're doing what we can to enable people to get a better education and improve their situation in life, I think is very important. That's one thing. Health is another, improving the health of others. I serve on the board of Northwestern Hospital in Chicago, one of the major hospitals in Chicago. And then we do things around, I would call it Things Chicago, is where I live. And so trying to make Chicago a better place. So we've done a number of initiatives that we hope improve the lives of people in the Chicago area. We do some other things, but I would think those are the 3 major categories of philanthropy.
About health, you are a sportsman and you keep fit.
I try.
What do you do to stay in shape?
Yeah, my main activity is running, jogging. I ran this morning. 3.5 miles. I ran down to the lake. It's a little steep hill from this hotel. And then I ran around the lake and back up the hill. So I love running, but I like most sports, you know. So running is probably number one. It's easy. Wherever I am, I just need a pair of running shoes and I can go. And I've been doing that for decades and decades, since I was probably 20 years old, started to run every day. And I run marathons. I don't run marathons anymore, but I used to. So I love running, but I love biking. I love tennis. I love swimming. I love just about any sport. But it's important for me to do some physical activity every day. And as you say, I'm a big believer in health. So it's exercise, it's trying to eat right, getting enough sleep. All of these things are pretty important to health.
Mr. Mansueto, thank you very much. We are grateful for your time.
Thank you.
It's nice, very nice to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Grazie.
Grazie a lei. Cari tifosi, abbiamo concluso questa bellissima chiacchierata con il proprietario unico del Football Club Lugano, Joe Mansueto. Mi auguro che abbiate potuto conoscerlo un po' meglio, è stato molto molto piacevole, è un onore per noi averlo avuto. Alla prossima occasione.